For a lot of us home cooks, time is usually the limiting factor in terms of what you can and cannot do. Now, you've seen me work in a bunch of different kitchens over the past year. I think I've filmed videos at this point in 5 different kitchens. And while it is true that you have to get used to different appliances like stoves and ovens, that is usually fairly easy to pick up if you cook often. And in terms of saving time, once you figure out the layout of your kitchen and where everything is, you're not really at a point where kitchen layout is going to make a huge difference once you have it optimized the way you like it. So today I want to talk about getting the most out of the time you spend in your kitchen. I'm gonna give a few of my favorite hacks that I use to be as efficient as I can be from a time perspective. And if you know anything about me, I'm always a fan of having a plan. I come from a sports background and I've heard the same saying over and over again: failing to plan is planning to fail. So with that in mind, making a plan makes a huge difference. Now, having a plan can be something as simple as an outline of ingredients. This is something similar to what I do most of the time now. So for an example, I have an idea of some staples I want to have for the week and things that I can reuse a bunch of different ways. Now, the planning part will do a couple things for you here. One, it will optimize your grocery store efficiency. How many times have you been in the grocery store and you're just wandering aisles and then you look at your watch or your phone and you've already spent an hour or 90 minutes in the store? Going to the grocery store with a plan can sometimes cut your time spent there as much as in half, depending on how much you like to roam around. So for me, I always have a list of the things I need. I know where to get them, and I try to minimize the time I spend at the grocery store or the market. You can also take this a step further. So I might not know exactly what I want to make every day, but if I have an idea of the ingredients I'm going to buy, I can then make a list of the meals I know I'm going to make throughout the week, budget out my time accordingly, and then cook what I need to in the specific times that I've designated out for them. This gives me a lot of flexibility because if I know ahead of time what I'm making and when I'm making it, I'm not scrambling together a meal on a random Wednesday because I know I already budgeted a certain amount of time out for it, or I prepared accordingly ahead of time. So it's about finding that marriage between your out of the kitchen schedule and your in the kitchen schedule. And it all starts with having a planner or a calendar or somewhere where you can write this down. Go to the grocery store with a shopping list, have at least a rough idea of what you're gonna make for your meals throughout the week, and then plan your grocery trips accordingly. For me, I go once a week. I usually go on a Sunday, and I'm in and out usually within 40 minutes. I get everything I need, I know where everything is, and I try to be as efficient as possible. The second thing on this list is batch cooking. One thing you should build into your plan is some time to batch cook certain staples for the upcoming week. And this could look a variety of different ways. For me, it could be roasting a bunch of chickpeas or sweet potatoes in the oven. It could be cooking multiple cups of brown rice or quinoa or millet or buckwheat all in a pot and then putting in a container. So when I know I need it later in the week, I can just pull out and heat up the portion that I need and go from there. There's no prep time other than putting it in the oven and warming it up. So batch cooking staple ingredients are crucial to saving time in the kitchen. Other than whole grains, things like potatoes, sweet potatoes, dried legumes are great to cook in batches, and you could use them in a variety of different ways once they're cooked. Speaking of batch cooking, I think one of the best investments a home cook could make is in a pressure cooker. It has a variety of different uses, but for batch cooking specifically, it is a huge time saver and leaves you with a large margin for error. Many pressure cookers now even come with instructions for certain things. So for example, if you want to pressure cook a batch of black beans, it'll tell you exactly how long you need to cook them for, and you don't even have to think about it. Just set the timer as recommended and you're done. This is even something, say you can start in the morning, set a timer, and it's done by the time you get home, whether you're going to work, running an errand. Huge time saver. It's almost mindless to use, and for someone who has a busy schedule, this is a no-brainer. Now, if you're looking to cut costs, one of my favorite ways to do this is to make stocks. I did a video on this, so I'll link that up here, but it's a great way to save money and get the most out of the food you're buying before discarding any odds and ends. Next, slowly try to build out your spice cabinet. Now, this is gonna take a little trial and error, and everyone's a little different in terms of their taste preferences. For me, I'm always a proponent of being as diverse as possible, but if you're not gonna use the ingredient, then diversity doesn't make much sense here. But if you're open to giving new spices and herbs a try, definitely try to include as many as possible when it's appropriate. Particularly for those, if you're looking to go more plant-based, experimenting with different herbs and spices is really gonna pack a ton of flavor in ways that you're really not going to replicate otherwise. So if you're just building it out, maybe try 2 or 3 new ones that you're interested in. Maybe you've seen me use them in a couple videos on this channel, and try to incorporate them in different ways. Or you can look for a recipe online that uses it and then apply it there. Speaking of transitioning to a more plant-based approach, try taking a plant-based cooking class. It's a great way to get familiar with a new style of cooking, and it will definitely make you more comfortable with perhaps newer ingredients that you're not familiar with. Finally, and arguably most importantly, is have a quality knife and knife sharpener. To me, nothing makes cooking more of a chore than having a knife that isn't able to cut the way it's supposed to. Particularly if you're someone who's looking to cook more often or cook every day, having a quality tool that you're gonna use pretty much every time you're in the kitchen, in my opinion, is absolutely necessary. You don't need to spend a ton of money on a good knife. There are some quality brands out there where you can get a really reasonable one. And while technically I'm not a chef, I would recommend getting a chef's knife or something that you can use for a variety of different purposes. So if you're looking to make an investment in one specific item, a chef's knife would be a great place to start. And in terms of time-saving hacks, these are some of the best that I've come up with to this point. These are ones that I incorporate every day, every week, and to me, give me structure to help me stay on track and make this whole journey more sustainable. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you're looking for more content in this type of format, please let me know. I'm happy to share, and I'll see you guys next week.